Hello everyone, and this is Marcio Cardoso here again with another political hot take video tied to education reform. This video related to education reform is going to be about class sizes and why I think, as a teacher, we need to, here's a big shock, have smaller class sizes and not bigger class sizes. So, let's look at this whole scope of the thing. I'll give you a little bit of background for me. I teach a class that has on average 26, 27 kids. My biggest class that I'm teaching this year has 33 students. For a while, it had 34 students, which is a key number because our district that I teach in has a rule in place that says the limit is 34 kids. You can't have more than 34 in your classroom. I can't have more than 34 as a social studies teacher. No math, English, science teacher can have more than 34. 34 is the max. Unless you teach PE, in that case the number is higher. But PE is a different type of class, not really an academic setting. But for academic classrooms, 34 is the limit in our school district. Ironically enough, the previous place where I worked, previous district, also had a limit of 34. Is that good? Honestly, no. I think it's too high. And most teachers would agree with me that 34 students per class is too high. Now, luckily for me, most of my classes aren't that high. I have quite a few classes that are more in the mid-20s. So I'm lucky. In that sense, it works out. But for my one class of 33, it's tough to teach them just because there's so many bodies in the room. And I don't have that big of a classroom. It's not that big. And 33 bodies in here, aside from myself, it's just too many. You can't get to all the students at once. Even if it's a good class of good kids, and my class of 33 kids is a good group. There really aren't that many bad kids in there. But at the same time, you have a situation where because it's so packed, so crowded, you can't always address every student's needs or questions or desires. And being that I teach in a middle school, there's always going to be kids that just want attention, and it's hard to give it to them when there's 33 kids in there. What should we do? I believe that class sizes should be at a much lower level. And I'll give you the step-by-step setup. If you're teaching a kindergarten class or a first grade class, kids are even more needy, more demanding of attention. That's just how they are at that age. And I don't think a kindergarten or first grade or second grade teacher should teach more than 20 kids at a time. I believe the class size limit from kindergarten to second grade should be 20 kids. Period. End of discussion. Then we're going to have a leap here. What about third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders, sixth, seventh, eighth? I believe that we should have a rule in place that says you can't have more than 24 kids in third grade all the way up to ninth grade. Let me repeat that. From third grade to ninth grade, the limit should be 24 kids per class. Again, I have a couple classes where it's around 24, and it's much easier, much easier. And ironically enough, the class that I have that's almost 24 kids, there's a few more maybe behavioral issues in those classes than in my class of 33, but yet in terms of overall managing the class and overall delivering instruction, I'm able to get to that class of 24 a little bit better than the class of 33, simply because there's 9 less kids in the classroom. It makes a big difference. And I look at my class of 24 kids and I think, there's some troublemakers in there. Imagine if there were now 9 more kids in there, giving those troublemakers a bigger audience and making it that much harder for me to deal with the troublemakers because now you have 9 more kids that you have to deal with. And these kids, they feed off each other. Kids in general just feed off each other, whether they're good or bad. They just feed off each other. So I think from 3rd to 9th grade, the limit's got to be at 24. Now, once you get to 10th grade, 10th, 11th, 12th, then I think you could raise the limit a little bit higher because the kids are a little bit more mature. They're becoming young adults now. And then I think you could raise that limit to either 28 or maybe even 30 kids. 28 or 30. But only for 10th, 11th, and 12th graders. basically the high school kids. And if you saw my previous video on where students should be in high school, middle school, whatnot, I think that high school should only be 10th through 12th. That's why I'm using 10th through 12th, because that's, in my opinion, what high school should be. I think ninth graders should be down in junior high school. So kindergarten through second grade, limit of 20. Third grade through ninth grade, limit of 24. And then once you get to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, then you could raise that limit up to 28 or 30 kids. Still can't go past 30 though. More than 30 kids, it's just impossible. Even 11th and 12th graders. You're not going to be able to meet all their needs and demands and whatnot. You got to keep that limit in place. Now, why don't we do that? Well, it's going to cost money. If we keep the limit at 24 kids at my school, junior high school, of 7th and 8th graders, well, where are those other students going to go? You need to hire more teachers, is what you have to do. And that costs money. So I get it. That's why there's a pushback from administration and certain officials. They'll argue, oh, class size doesn't matter. No, they know class size matters. They know that a smaller class usually means a more proficient class. But they also know that that costs more money because then you have to hire more teachers. And so that's where the pushback is. But again, you get what you pay for. That's all I'm going to say. You get what you pay for. You don't want to hire those extra teachers and as a result keep class sizes higher? Okay. But the quality of education is going to suffer. If you want to improve quality education, you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is. Hire more teachers so you can keep class sizes at a lower number. 24 seems to be a good magic number. It's a good round number, even number. And I keep finding out that my classes that are around that number, they tend to function, shockingly, a lot better than the classes that get closer to 34, which is, again, our legal limit in our district. It's amazing. Even a class of a handful of knuckleheads, maybe not the best kids, but if it's only 24, you tend to be able to make them work. A class of 33, even when they're pretty much all good kids and there's really not that many bad kids, they can get a little bit more out of control or a little bit more difficult to manage simply because there's 8, 9, 10 more kids in the room. And if you don't have a big classroom, and the size of my classroom is not that big, it feels crowded. It feels like you're congested almost. Thankfully, none of my students in my big class are claustrophobic. Otherwise, we could have episodes in there. We got to keep class sizes at a lower number. It's going to cost some money. We get that. But again, you get what you pay for. And I think the quality of education will increase if you decrease the class sizes. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.